Thank you, Dara. I would like to take an opportunity today to talk to you all about technology for care and the many tools and resources that are out there and available for all of us. Even the FDA has a website talking about the emergence of wireless technology and the advancements on body sensing devices that can be enabled within the healthcare system and are Bluetooth enabled, can record on your phone, send alerts to your phone, send alerts to your physician in some cases. Certainly, if it's recording data, then you can take that message that's received on your phone and forward it to your doctor. So they have a lot of information about what's going on with an individual. Some of the things that are Bluetooth enabled are like blood pressure cuffs that measure blood pressure, heart rate, pulse, and just can be a lifesaver in certain circumstances. Thermometers that are Bluetooth enabled and certainly blood glucose monitors can be very helpful to those that are diabetic and to the family members, so that if the blood sugar gets too low or gets too high, an alert will be sent off on the device local to the individual wearing it, as well as to their phone or anybody else's phone that's connected to the technology, and then an intervention can happen to help resolve that particular issue. Lockatron is a very cool device that can let you know if the door to your house is being unlocked remotely, and that you can receive an alert if someone's trying to get into the house or leave the house, which can be very helpful in the case of patients or individuals that have dementia and want to get out of the house and on their own, so that someone knows that this is going on and then can either relock the door or just show up in the room and encourage them to not leave right now. There are so many devices out there. It's amazing. I found one that will track your digestive health just by breathing, so that if you're having particular issues with a kind of food, it can let you know that that food is causing your digestive system some issues. And I think that's a whole lot easier than having to do an elimination diet. There are EKG monitors, and we're going to talk about one of those on the Apple iPhone or the Apple iWatch in just a second here. So some of the other devices out there that are available and wonderful resources are this caption call phone. So this is very helpful to people who are hard of hearing. They can receive this phone free. It is a federally supported program. This phone works just like your other phone, plugs into your wall in your house, and then it can be programmed with key phone numbers, and it will actually transcribe the conversations coming in from the other side, so that the individual with hard of hearing can read what they're saying as well as hear it to whatever degree they're able to. There are monitoring devices for bed alarms, chair alarms, and now floor mats, which can be remotely monitored, which can be very helpful, so that the chime does not ring in the room where the individual is, perhaps disturbing them and triggering them to turn off the alarm, but can be maintained out in the nursing station or in the kitchen, wherever the individual is that needs to be alerted that the individual is trying to get up, and to make their way to help them do that securely and safely, so that we prevent falls. Um, on the low tech end of it, but still a device that I think is just really a valuable device and important for people to know about, is a car cane. Easy to order on Amazon, very helpful. You just put that device, you hook it into where your door normally would hook to stay shut, and the individual has something to help them hold on to with securely to be able to get up or to get back into the vehicle. It also can be used to break glass, cut a seatbelt if there was a need to get out of the car in emergency. But as a car cane, I find this just indispensable for folks that have issues getting around. One of the other devices I want to talk about today is the external female catheter. Now, this is new to the market, just approved by Medicare to be a covered expense as of the 1st of October. So that's for the base unit. There are disposables that have to be replaced every night. So this is only good for 8 to 12 hours. But for those women who are incontinent and tired of having to wake up in a wet bed or in a hospital or a care setting, can be just a real peace of mind saver, so that the collection device is disposable and the other part of the unit is just cleaned out daily, but definitely a way to save some face. And we have the Apple Watch I talked about just a little bit ago, very good at detecting AFib. There are apps that you can add that will track sleep, track fitness. There's so many things that we can track that are relative and important to our health. And the Apple Watch is a good example of that one. There's also a plethora of other devices which can monitor activities. So if someone falls, they can detect falls the majority of the time. They're never 100% accurate, but they're pretty good at this point. As well as if somebody's been in like a bathroom for an hour, that's kind of an unusual behavior. And so it can send an alert if someone has not come out of the bathroom, perhaps they've fallen and they're on the floor, they just need some help. As well as other rooms. These devices are just very helpful. And then of course, there's things like the Echo Show. There are other devices out on the market, but it allows families to have conversations with each other during this time of COVID and isolating to protect each other. But conversations can be had almost like they're in person, and people don't feel quite so isolated. The Alexa Echo is a wonderful tool for setting reminders for maybe medication, pills need to be taken, time to get up and go for a walk or stretch. When it's time for someone to come over or a doctor's appointment, perhaps a telehealth appointment is coming up. So the Alexa Echo can be programmed for many, many, many purposes. And as I state, there are other devices similar that are on the market that can be very helpful as well. I want to also provide you some resources that I think are very helpful. CanDo is a technology, and basically that's a tech concierge that was set up and designed with the senior in mind. And they can help set configure devices ahead of time and then send them to the individual. They have wonderful handouts for how to get into, say, Zoom. I actually have downloaded their Zoom help guide, and I use that for my clients when we're going to meet for the first time over Zoom and they're not used to having using that as a tool. It'll walk them step by step how to do it, so it makes our meetings much more effective. But they have tons of resources. They are available online to help with technology issues. There's a really great tech email newsletter. It's called Tech Enhanced Life. They have a fabulous website with lots of technology devices out there, some of the best apps. And I actually do really like receiving their newsletter because there's just so much that's going on, and to be aware of what's happening with the technology from a technology standpoint is helpful. And then I threw in this one, MindSense Cognition. It's a great tool to help keep our minds engaged. Certainly during this time of COVID and isolation, it's easy for people to just sit and do nothing or watch TV and not really be intellectually stimulating themselves. And we know that that's a really important part of keeping engaged and young, and keeping our brain pliable, and warding off as much as we can of cognitive decline. So that was just one tool that I thought was really helpful there. We know that the head in the sand approach is really ineffective. I tried that myself with my sisters before our parents. We became aware that our father had Alzheimer's disease, and I knew something was changing, but we just kind of stuck our head in the sand and weren't proactive about it. And I would really like to encourage others to avoid that pitfall if at all possible. So families along that line, it's a really helpful time to, if you're visiting or anybody is going to be in residence with their loved one, to open up their eyes and notice things that have changed, notice things that are unusual. You want to be very alert to what's happening in their home. If you see any pink slips in the envelopes, they might be notices that something's about to be shut off. You also want to pay attention to if there's letters from Nigerian princes or any of the other scams that are going on out there. There are a ton of them, and they just keep getting worse. And so we have an opportunity to really use technology, let the technology be our eyes and ears and help us manage all of the things that we might not be able to see in person with COVID. So not only do you want to be aware, you want to be prepared. And that's a little bit about what we're talking about today and other technologies to use to help you do that. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dara. Thanks so much.